Hi y'all, this is Texas Gaming Industries here, and welcome back to another episode of my Let's Play a Railway Empire. In the previous episode, our railroad basically was there to help out of supplying the U.S. military with, everything that needed for World War I, and our railroads enjoying the success of the Roaring Twenties. And at the same time, we also acquired one of our newest locomotives of this time period, the USRA 482 Mountain Climb locomotive. But we'll also basically unlock some new things as well, such as mass production, that will reduce the price of engines by 15%, and the 2662 Mallet, aka the CNO H8. And not to mention, shaft ventilation, that will reduce the amount of construction costs needed on the tunnel. And basically in this episode, we're just gonna basically see if we can get the rest of the technology unlocked as we go on. Now then, let's replace a couple of these 0660 old mods on the iron ore traffic. And see, where else? Well, considering that these engines were built to operate on coal drags, let's just replace the prairie. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. This is it. We'll replace this locomotive with this. And the same thing for the Malero mine. Now, as you can see, our city of Pittsburgh has grown big enough. Now, buildings are basically being built over the other side of the river. I don't see anything that needs to be worked on price-wise. We already got a train between Great Falls and Winnemucca already operating. But what about a train from Great Falls to... Oh, I already don't have a freight train between these two cities. Baker City is making steel, but it needs clothing. But Great Falls doesn't have a need for steel. But I could basically get rid of the brewery for something else. For something that requires steel. A car factory could be good, because... Gasoline is going to be a little bit hard to come by, because there's only a handful of spots on the map that produces oil and could be produced into gasoline. A toy factory could probably do a lot better. So we'll basically start operating a freight train between the two cities, put it as freight, and put a Mikado in charge. There will be no perishable products on board, so no need for the refrigeration car. But now that Baker in Great Falls doesn't have access to basically producing beer anymore, we'll have to supply the city with beer. Fortunately, Casper is producing beer. So we'll basically start operating a freight train between those two cities now. Put it as an F for freight, and then put in the Berkshire. The Mikado. God. The Berkshire won't be available for at least another 5-6 years. But, now with that done, let's see. Express line Odessa to Miles City, Oklahoma City to Pittsburgh. Those express bonuses are kind of hard for me to get. So in reality, we'll just basically focus on helping out with some of the other industries. Great Falls is doing good on cloth, but we basically need to deliver more freight. Let's see how that freight train's getting on. 53 miles an hour. It's not too shabby. Though the mountain type engine, even though it has bigger driving wheels, can go at 46, which kind of doesn't make sense. Other than that, though, the train will basically pick up the steel at Baker City, and then deliver it down to the toy factory. Oh, that was the wrong Mikado. This is the one. Now we also have a promoter, which we could basically use to help grow one of these cities around here. Great Falls needs to grow a little bigger, in my opinion, so I'm putting Mr. Bill Lewis in charge of that. Our Mikado is being serviced, and now it will pick up 2 loads of beer. Livestock near Atlanta. I'm not connected to it. So, $1 million loss. Not great. But Mikado will basically deliver 2 loads of beer and 5 loads of steel. Meeting Kingman to Denver. Washington Conference of Success Naval Powers Arms Race. And these signals are still causing trouble. I think I'll probably just place a supply tower here and here. That way, no one will have to worry about that bridge. We'll have to worry about that supply tower delaying trains. White flattening near Charlotte. I'll buy it, because it's close to my railroad. No freight suitable. Berkshire, not available yet. Let's see, Bakerfield to Minneapolis. That's basically producing gasoline. The city is not big enough to make it grow once again. But I don't think we need 2 trains to service this industry. So, until there's more gasoline being delivered, I am basically not operating more than 1 train on this line. Let's see. What other cities need gasoline? Chicago has about 58% of the demand fulfilled. However, some of the other cities around here are not big enough to accept gasoline just yet. Toledo is not big enough for gasoline, and Denver is not big enough for gasoline. Neither is Bismarck or any other cities. The only other cities that require gasoline is Pittsburgh and Washington. No other cities, because Minneapolis is the only city that's producing it. But to help with this problem, just operate a special freight train. But to make it a lot easier and save time, the freight train will just travel along this section of track between these 2 cities to alleviate the traffic on this part of the main line. Put in a special freight 1. Make sure that the train is set for freight only, and put the 482 Mountain type engine in charge. That will basically be used for carrying cloth and carrying back beer and lumber. As for this one, this will primarily carry gasoline. And the same thing with beer and lumber. But, however, with this, I could basically produce some more clothing because there's a huge stockpile of, well, cotton available. I mean, textiles. Waiting and it hasn't gone exactly up to par, but it's slowly working there. Plus, since that contract between the 2 has basically expired, I might as well just switch it back to the 10-wheeler that normally handles the local passenger trains. Speaking of which, the Charlotte to Pittsburgh freight needs a fast locomotive. So, replace that at, look at that, $1 billion in company value. That is amazing. Right? 6 cars of beer and 1 car of lumber. Train slow to missing supplies. That's the route between Portland, Maine, and New York, the coast-to-coast freight south. I probably might just put one of them here. And now the train will stop to pick up some more fuel and, well, water, lubricants, and sand. It'll drop off its meat and then pick up any cargo that's up in Atlanta bound stop. Speaking of which, how much have you been making so far? It's only been 5 years, and yet there is no information on how much it's been making in freight. Kingman to Denver, it's already been worked on already. Unless I want to put these signals here, just to make it a lot easier. Huh. What do you know? That did work. We only made about $1 million loss. Blackmail? Just to get them off my backs. Let me think. Guatemala is still producing a good amount of tools. There's a lot of meat that needs to be produced, so I'm upgrading the meat packing plant. Now it will produce a maximum of 99 loads of meat, which is good. Let's see. Express line from Sioux Falls to Miles City. The connection between these two is still... it's not basically direct. Let's see. Stoker, speed bonus. Let's see. Speaking of which, some of my engines are starting to look a little worn out. Like my 280 that handles the logging trains fires the aisles to Salt Lake is starting to really look very worn out. So out goes the consolidation, in goes the prairie. And the New York to Pittsburgh coast-to-coast freight really badly needs maintenance. So basically, if your locomotive does not receive maintenance, its reliability goes to basically non-existent, and the engine also basically has a... whoa, that was a very odd glitch. But anyway, once the locomotive has no reliability, or basically no maintenance, the engine basically gets an old, grimy look. Kind of like how locomotives used to... the steam age used to be right before the end in 1960. The train will just make a quick stop in Chicago for the return trip. But I don't get it. I put it in every stop, but it just doesn't want to stop. Engineer with maintenance bonus, stoker with maintenance bonus, stoker with speed bonus, conductor with passenger bonus. Let's see. Let's put that on the mail train for the cotton farm near Sioux Falls. Not connected to it, so I'm not going to bother. Nashville to Charlotte. Put in the conductor with a passenger bonus. The Nashville to Chicago freight. Speed bonus. Actually, no. Let's just put it on the New Orleans to Houston freight. And as for the passenger train between those two, the reliability engineer in charge. Accountant, no need for the conductor, basically, I guess. Accountant, 19% decrease in locomotives. Surveyor, 8% decrease in track. We get a bonus from, well, our chief engineer if this happens. So we can basically lose the 29% bonus for our chief engineer, as well as our 30% bonus from the accountant. But however, actually, although it will lose our innovation points, our surveyor's tracking power cost will be reduced to 13% instead. And if we hire him, we basically lose that total locomotive discount. Let's see. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. Now we have the T1 Berkshire, the first two-way forwarder design in the United States. Breweries in Seattle, purchasing it. Let's get the safety axis, air conditioning, alarm system, poaching, further training, noise insulation, the Santa Fe 210-2, Texas 210-4/fund, and mail order, with the Hudson 464. Now we got 4 new locomotives. The 284 Berkshire, which is good on mixed traffic. It's 210-2 Santa Fe class. The Texas and Pacific 610, aka the 210-4 Texas class. And the New York Central J1 Hudson. The only two other engines left is the Super Hudson, which is this, and the EMD E-Series diesel. I can't believe it that we're nearly about to unlock the last two locomotives in the entirety of the game. But now, it's time to basically modernize. The Hudson will basically replace the 462 Pacifics on the express passenger service across the entirety of the country, while the Berkshires will basically handle the special mixed traffic, handle some of the special freights. Well, actually, no. The Berkshires will basically handle the coast-to-coast freights instead. So that's the one for the southern part. That's one for the standard route. And then for the one for the north. And for the main passenger locomotives, the 462 Pacific will now be in charge on all of the passenger trains, finally replacing the aging Rogers 10-wheelers. But I still need to replace that 442 Atlantic type engine. It may not be the most ideal choice, but I could basically replace it with this engine. Teaching theory of evolution forbidden. Ooh, interesting. Now let's see. I had a D12 somewhere on my fleet. Ah, here it is. The Carson City to Seattle Special Freight. This engine is starting to get a little worn, so I'm replacing it with the Santa Fe Class engine. As for the freight trains traveling through this region, well, actually throughout this section of the track, I think I'll basically use the Santa Fe class for the trains going down south, the Berkshire going north, and as for the train traveling through the middle, it will basically be the Mountain class engine. Now, we basically only have the 210 Texas type available, which I'm going to be using on some of the more steeper parts of the line, such as this right here. The 4AO Mastodon is getting a little too old. Oh, bother, I got the Hudson instead. Now, with this 210 Texas type locomotive, it can easily climb this heavy grade. It will replace some of the other engines too. Trains going over the mountains of Denver freight will be pulled by these engines. As the same for the ones traveling over here. Oh, bother. Sometimes those signals can change when you least expect it. Replace it with this. And replace this engine with something a little more useful. We'll replace it with the Prairie. Let's see, Casper to Baker City. I don't think I actually have a freight train between those two yet. But again, Baker City does not have any freight that's needed in Casper. But might as well just get that train created so when the city grows, then I could basically use that type of locomotive. Let's see, security guards. Freelancer, let's put it on comfort so we can increase our passenger numbers. What else? What else to do? Oh, another market cry here. I'm putting on safety so we can increase the amount of mail that we'll transport. More farm to Jacksonville. Oh yeah, there are signals that are supposed to be here in front. That should fix that problem. And we made a profit of $250,000. Let's see. Train missing supplies. That's between those iron ore mine and Guanamuca. I'll just build one right there. And place down a signal. Clay pit here. Actually, when Luca gets a little bigger, I think I'll basically add, well, a pottery shop. Well, a pottery factory. Cotton farm near Indianapolis. I am not connected to it, so I'm not buying it. Engineer with a reliability bonus. I'll put that on this passenger train. And basically get a better security guard. North Central wins opinion, Charlotte and pleases punch. That's good to hear. Let's put that speed bonus fireman on top of the freight train, coast to coast north. And security guard again. Might as well put it on these two freights. Well, on any freights because they act like a brakeman, so to speak. Let's see. So we basically only have this engine and this to unlock, as well as these 4 last pieces. And that means we'll basically have all the research done. Let's see, security guard. Still have a couple more weeks. Let's put that security guard on this passenger train. Surprisingly, even with the more modern coaches, the Pacifics basically don't find it hard to pull those type of cars. Let's see. Let's basically make an industry big enough in, well, Baker City for something else. Let's upgrade it to allow more grain to be turned into beer for drinking. Let's see. Professor, under 30 points. Stoker with a speed bonus. Let's see. Let's put it on the Salt Lake City to Great Falls Freight. However, now that it's basically delivering freight, I think if it's delivering toy meat back, I might as well basically add a refrigeration car. Let's see, security guard, Baker City, come on, yes, perfect. Now we have a third industry. There's no sugarcane nearby, but, however, though, I think we'll probably just place the preservatives here. And then just delete the one that's in Portland for something else. Speaking of which, I need to check and see what types of towns need toys. The only towns that basically are needing toys is Bismarck, Salt Lake City, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Nashville, and Washington. So I'll have to basically get an industry that will fit within the area. Let's see. Cloth, meat, let's see. Cheeses, candy factory. There's no sugar nor grain nearby. Well, there's grain, but no sugar. Publishing, that's a high-grade commodity, but no city has that yet. Well, might as well just do it anyway. Upgrade it, and then upgrade this as well. Which kind of begs the question of why I built one there. It doesn't make sense for preservatives to be built in the same city as a steel mill. Let's just basically put a ceramics plant here instead. Any excess coal that's delivered can be used in making pottery. But that means the train will have to travel from here to Baker City, which, for the first time in a while, we're going to lay down some new track. We'll build over this little river and build northwards through this little cut, curve down, and then basically turn and reconnect it here. basically creating another similar loop here with the trains carrying iron ore. The signals here put a supply tower near the at Franklin Traw, and start operating a train of clay with a Santa Fe class. A security guard on it. Actually, no. A Prairie will probably do a lot better on delivering clay. Now our company has over 133 stations. That's a bit of a new record, too. And basically, I think that will do it for this episode. If you guys like this episode of my Let's Play Railway Empire, be sure to leave a like and a comment, as well as subscribe to Texas Gaming Industries, where a new video is uploaded every Friday at 12 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. This is Texas Gaming Industries saying thank you so much for watching this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!